So that's a quick and brief introduction about training program. I get into more technical part of it. Should anybody has any question in this, please let me know. Here we are talking about solution. I'm not talking about only product, right? So solution, we need to identify the solution for the customer, and there may be multiple product. Today you may be working on OBIEE. In future you may need to work on another product. New product will come up. We need to follow this implementation understanding. So any project when you start, we prepare, especially BI project, there are two possibilities. Either you work on new project or new initiatives, or you work on existing project, right? OBIEE jobs. First kind of jobs, you have a report developer. Primary jobs are report developer. Secondary jobs, you do have a jobs in administration. Administration jobs are relatively low because administration and OBIEE become fusion middleware administration. I'll get into more detail. 70% jobs to 80% jobs are available for report developer. There are two possibilities. Either you work on new initiative where you need to work on new reports, new requirements. Maybe your client is using ERP product, they are using Oracle apps. Now they want to implement BI reporting on top of that. Maybe your client is using Oracle CRM or some legacy application, Java based application, or some legacy solution they are using, and they want to implement a reporting solution on top of that, business intelligence reporting. Another possibility is you work on enhancement and support. Enhancement support, 60% jobs are 60 to 70% jobs are in enhancement and support, and 30% jobs to 40% jobs are in new initiatives. Our learning methodology will map both of these things. Either you get an opportunity as a new enhancement or as a new initiative or enhancement. Both the cases we are going to talk about. So when you start working on new initiative, business intent is all about how closely you understand the requirement, business requirement. If you are a DBA or .NET developer or Java developer, or you work in any other domain, business intelligence is quite different than this. Business intelligence is all about how closely you work with business user and understand the requirement. So you need to be techno-functional. You need to understand technology and you need to understand function as well. Technology and function both together. Any requirement comes with one-line statement, like one-liner statement, or CEO of our company say, maybe company, I need top 5 products contributing to the revenue. His question may be very simple. I need top 5 product which is contributing to the revenue. Or maybe his question is more detailed. I want more generic. I want my shipping time to be, product shipping time to be reduced by 20%, right? His question may be, so business requirement start with one-liner statement and then you further nail down. So we first understand requirement. It could be one-liner statement like this. We need to create a report where I need to display top 10 retailers, right? So exactly in real world, your business user do not know exactly what they need, right? So before we start building any solution, we give them sample data, sample report called report mock-up, or report wireframe, a sample report, and say, hey, this is how your report would look like. Do you find it interesting? So when they say yes, this is how exactly I want, okay, then you take up a report sign off. So step first, assuming you know the metadata details, underline source system and all, you capture and understand the business requirement. It's a complicated affair and greatly depends upon the domain knowledge. If I send you to healthcare or finance, naturally you need a difficulty because you're supposed to know how business process work. So capturing and understanding business requirement is a difficult job and takes time. And the better you know about the business, the better solution you can design. Step second, if you are a report developer, I'm talking about job role of report developer. The job role of data monitor is different. Job role of functional consultant is different. what do? You prepare report mockup. Report mockup, or we also call it wireframe, where you prepare a sample report and show it to the user. We want to avoid iterative tasks. Iterative is very time consuming, expensive. Then when your user sign off and say, yes, I want the report like this, next we get into more detail. I would be using some keywords over here. It may possible you're not familiar with them. I would recommend you to go through the fundamental of data warehousing videos to know about it. The next step, once your users say, yes, I want this report in the same way, we identify, in order to fetch this business data, what dimension and fact, what is my source from where we can pull the data. The source could be your RDBMS tables. Traditionally, if I talk about conventional business intelligence, your conventional data source are your data source are RDBMS. We primarily categorize them in three ways. Either you may be working on conventional data source like RDBMS, Oracle, SQL Server, DB2 or something like this. They are more like a structured data source. Structure data source could be structure. It could be semi-structure. Semi-structure, if you work in finance or some domain, many of your business users are quite comfortable with Excel, right? Most 20% of your business data you can find in Microsoft Excel. So we need to collect data which is beyond structured data sources. Even if you get the best tool to your user, they come back to Excel and do the all analysis. So SAMIS data could be Excel, could be flat file. Flat file, maybe you extracted some data from some tool. Recently we were working on a project called PeopleSoft campus recruitment. We wanted data from them. They supply data to us in a flat file, and they do not allow us to connect to their system because of their confidentiality. So they mask the data and they give us in flat file. It may also possible. Right? And nowadays, you see, because of social networking, we have got unstructured data. Unstructured data as well, right? Like your Facebook data, your LinkedIn and all, unstructured data. This may not be, in a format that I can directly use for reporting. Recently, we worked one of the project called customer survey. We would like to, render. It's a big electronic company, Philips. We were doing a POC for them, and they wanted to do a customer survey about their product liking and disliking. They prepare a very nice form in Facebook, and they ask customer to put the data. When they fill the numbers, they get some point and they get some discount on the product. Okay, there were so many fields. One field, draw my attention was customer comments, something like this comments, right? And we were able to pull all the data. They were Boolean value. Do you like it? Do not like it? Blah blah blah. There was one called comments. Users are free to put anything, and some user put a smiley face. Some user write some some unpleasant words. So when user put smiley face, we need to convert it into happy. And when people write some bad word, we'll convert into unhappy or something like this. This is the simplest example which says when you work in unstructured data, we need to deal with some unusual constraints, unusual scenarios which are beyond documentation. Right? So conventional BI, new generation BI is far beyond that. It may be from RDBMS, it may be from semi-structured, it may be completely from unstructured data sources. The OBIEE new generation integration with Indica, the new product from Oracle family, is capable enough to process unstructured data. And I'm sure you must have heard about big data and all. A lot of new enhancements are happening. So BI is changing a lot day by day. We try to compensate and understand what max can be simulated in a class. Everything we cannot learn in a class. Something we learn in real time when you land it up into the job. So source could be your RDBMS like this, from where you pull the data. What dimension, what data we need from where? In order to understand this, we're supposed to have a very good understanding about underlying metadata. Let me go back this. So you go back to the business, you go back to data model and say, hey, I need this information. From which table, which column I can fetch the data, right? So you work closely with data modeler to understand underlying data source, table, column. In an enterprise warehouse, same information is stored in multiple places. It may possible Even the best enterprise warehouse, there are a lot of duplicacy. You may find order details are available in multiple tables. Maybe there are two tables, one for order, one for order method. It is impossible for you to know everything about all the column and all the table about the enterprise warehouse model. So we prepare a data dictionary. We greatly depends upon this. Data dictionary give me information about underlying data source. On top of this, we prepare technical metadata. Metadata could be technical and it could be business metadata. Right? Now, what is business metadata? See, what is CEO question? CEO says, I need top five products of North America. Right? His question is business like language. I need top 5 product of North America which is being sold. But your RDBMS doesn't understand. You can't put this question into your database. Right? This question required to be converted into respective language. So when you design metadata, you also understand one of the important parameters, how business think about it and how you think about it. Metadata, dimension and fact identification. People think it's only technology, but it's a business. How you identify dimension, how do you identify facts? You need to think of two views, business user view and technical team view. If I'm a tester, my view is different. I show you this live example. The OBIEE sample is designed considering this parameter. Assume I'm a business user and I do not know anything about technology. I don't know anything about technology, but I know about my business very well. To get the required data, I don't need to be a master in database. I don't need to know SQL query. I don't need to know anything about it, because the way information is organized in my language, in business vocabulary, I simply drag and drop whatever I needed and I process. Right? So as a developer, an architect, what is my objective? Design solution in a business vocabulary. Right? My metadata should be in, when I say technical metadata, business metadata. Business metadata would be business user vocabulary, and it greatly depends. If you work in finance, it would be different. If you work in HR, automobile, it greatly depends upon this. Right? So even if you have 10 years experience in OBIEE in finance, you get into a new project or new domain, your life starts from zero again. It's technical metadata. Then you have a business metadata, then technical metadata. OBIEE or all BI products are smart enough to handle this situation. Look at the beauty of it. My business query was, I need a list of product, line of business and the respective brand and the revenue. I drag and drop and process my query. But behind the screen, how OBIEE work? OBIEE takes this English language query and convert into actual SQL query. Because your database does not understand English language, so it creates a query. This is an example of the query. Not only create, it create optimized, intelligent way of creating query. So this is your technical metadata, which is SQL query. So it is so scientifically we design the solution. It is not blindly we drag and drop. We first see what business user want, how do they think about their business data, and how I should convert this technical business metadata into business technical metadata. See this live. What I selected? I selected product, brand and revenue. Product LOB, product brand and the revenue. Accordingly, my OBIEE has converted this into respective query. As a user, I don't have to worry about what table, what column, what key, what join, all the complexity I don't have to worry about. This is called layer of abstraction. Our design methodology would be same. Under identify dimension and fact, we do the same activity. Then you also pay attention to enterprise warehouse. It may possible conventional BI was 50 years back, a car was a luxury and now it's a need, right? Similarly, business intelligence was a luxury 20 years back, 10 years back, now it's a need. So conventional BI work on business intelligence, work on top of enterprise warehouse. So you have data sources, you use multiple techniques. You pull data from there, ETL, design, enterprise, data warehouse, and then you do the reporting. This is such an expensive affair. Not all company can afford to implement enterprise warehouse and reporting. So it was out of reach for a small and mid-scale company. So there are new generation business intelligence tool like Tableau, ClickView. They come and say, why you need enterprise warehouse? My solution can, if I'm working on customer relationship management, if I'm working on some financial applications, if you're working in some sales order processing application or HR application, my solution can work. I don't need an enterprise warehouse. I don't need it because it's so expensive and time consuming and out of reach for a small company. My reporting, I would call BI reporting, can sit on top of application directly. BI reporting. So we work in both scenarios where you have an enterprise warehouse and you need to design a sophisticated report like a banking, insurance sector, or for a small scale or when people want departmental solution. For example, I have procured from Oracle, I have procured a PeopleSoft for campus recruitment or for HR solution, and I want to implement HR analytics, right? Like how many people join, how many people we roll out the offer letter, how many people join, how many headcounts are there, the productivity of the employee, compensation, planning, training needs. Your HR analytics so huge. I don't need an enterprise warehouse. My OBIEE can sit directly on top of that. So when you design data model, we pay great attention. Are we designing a solution for enterprise, for a whole company, for PepsiCo, or one department of it, maybe for finance or HR or procurement, one department. That's one thing we pay attention. So this is a subset of data warehousing taken. This is for sales order processing. And then this is a more detailed way. This is also we identified as part of analysis. This is called hierarchy design. Your RDBMS store data in flattened structure, but business information hierarchy. Look at reporting. Most important account of any organization is hierarchy, right? You have assets, then you have a short-term asset, example. Then you have cash on hand. This is a simple example. Your reporting is also hierarchy. You have a director, then you have a senior director, then you have vice president of a company, senior vice president, and so on. Time dimension also hierarchy, year, quarter, month. All analysis in the world are time based. This is traditional analysis. New generation analysis is predictive analysis. We need to have a dimension, time dimension, which can help me to perform predictive analysis. Predictive, we will have to predict what if my sales tax increased by 10%, how it is going to impact my revenue in next 3 years, right? Or what if question for more predictive analysis, what if we invest $100,000 in new machines, how much revenue it add up to, how much productivity is added to the company in next 3 years. Adds up to the company. So this is a basic example. Do a lot of what if analysis and predictive analysis we do. But the baseline of all this kind of analysis is to understand our underlying dimension structure. So you see any business requirement directly indirectly maps to my design philosophy. Then we understand what are different user inputs. Right? If CEO see the company, different people have different requirements. If I'm a CEO of a company, I don't have enough time to get into my system and dig out all the required data. What I want one summary, one line report. So this is a CEO view. He like to see complete organization structure in one window. What are different expenses? What are different revenues? what is my HR policies, employee retention, or a brief detail about all part of my business. For them, we design a dashboards. There are some business analysts, they are smart people, they always play around with data. For them, we prepare dashboards. Dashboard is like a car, your car dashboard, where you have all controls are given on your car dashboard. You can select required information and you process it. And you see, I don't need to be technical expertise. I don't need a technical expertise. I don't need to be a SQL developer. I don't need to be a technically equipped with anything to play around my business data. I can do most of the things over here. This is your dashboard. So these are the user inputs. So when you design, you won't like to know what input people like to give in the report. Most of the project people don't pay attention to user input, but this is what we learn over the period of time. Many years of experience interacting with client and understanding, interacting with data modeler and different people help us to understand the successes of any project. It really depends. If it is uninteractive dashboard, imagine what would you do, right? In uninteractive. So in the first phase of a design itself, we identify how many user inputs we need when people analyze the data. So when my CEO asks a question, what was his question? I need top 5 product contributing to the revenue from North America, right? I go one step ahead and I say my CEO, sir, I can do this for you. In addition to this, you can also analyze your product based on by region, by time, by retailer name. What he needed, I am giving 10 steps ahead of this. I would also allow you to get by store, by manager. See, so many ways I am giving my user to analyze the data. And when I say by, this is user input. The better you understand users, the better you understand their requirement, the best solution you can design. Technical challenges are there. For technical challenges, you can see so many documentation blocks are available, but people are lagging in understanding requirements. So we do a lot of inputs. Next, very important thing about role-based access. Role-based access. Role-based access, people think it's a DBA job, it's an administrator job. In fact, it's a part of your design philosophy, design methodology, right? So see how role-based access works. I'm working for my enterprise solution and I have different users and the business data is very confidential. When I work with a business strategy team, business development team, they have some business strategies and they're so confidential and they don't want it to be shared to anybody. This is confidential data. More simple example is your salary and compensation, HR data. It's very confidential, your salary and compensation. Now this is also confidential data. It is mandatory that people see the data pertaining to their job role. Mandatory. So my report will different people have a different view. So the data set is same. Data set is same, but different people would have different view. Have different view. We would understand is how to implement. It is not implemented at the last day. We start implementing right from first day itself. So HR team would see their data, business development team see their data, people would see their own set of data. That is fall under role-based access. When I log in as administrator, I could see brand detail, I could see product detail. When you log in, you see separate product. Maybe there are 3 people and everybody is a product manager for respective product. When I log in, I would see first product. When you log in, you see another product. Data remains same, but different people have different view. That is important. Last, how would you supply information to the user? This is all a report developer job. How would you supply? The information is supplied by 2 ways conventionally. One is called push, another one is called pull. Pull means I go to dashboard, I go to my system, Whatever information I need, I select it and process. Pull. I go to system and bring the required data. That's called pull. Right. I'll connect to system and bring required data or information. Right. But not always this works. We also work on push technology, which is event based or scheduled. The simplest example, every time your flight gets delayed, you get a SMS. If your flight gets delayed, you get a SMS, right? So flight delay is the event, and they communicate to the customer. That's a push based. So it could be event based. A simple event could be if variance between or difference between my actual sales and target sales. Actual and target sales, difference percentage between, I say, to make more meaningful, is greater than 5%. It's a matter of worry to me. Communicate to the manager. Then notify manager. It means you mail them, communicate to them, mail them. There are multiple ways. Put it in a shared folder and let them know about it. So push, we have a set of events that is called alerts in OBIEE. Set of events where we design events. If this situation occur, do this. Information supply in the way. We go back to the client and ask, how do you want the information? Say, I want information like this. We have a monthly closing report. Let's talk about for sales team. Sales team say, we have monthly closing. I want monthly closing report first business day every month. First business day every month. It could be as simple as it could be more complicated based on script based. If monthly closing report I want in OBIEE, and I also want the same report to be automatically published in my corporate portal. I have a corporate portal and I want my report should export from OBIEE and automatically attach over there. We can do a lot of automation these days. Plenty of automation. It's like a ocean, right? And the more you work, the more you learn. Training can't teach everything. It gives you one push. This is whole lifecycle implementation of OBIEE. If you understand lifecycle implementation, you may work in OBIEE, you may work in IBM product, you may work in SAP product, any product. That's a high level overview of this. What OBIEE is, I give you a quick brief about it. There are plenty of videos in YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and access those videos which talk about OBIEE architecture, implementation methodology, and different videos are there, sample videos. So OBIEE is also a business intelligence reporting solution, BI reporting. Right? What BI reporting does, you have a user over here. Users are generally non-technical users, design considering non-technical users, and they connect to my system. Generally the system is technical system, RDBMS or flat file. They connect to my system and bring the required data. They connect to system and bring the required data. The problem over here, people can connect to system only if they know the respective technology. So if my source system is Oracle or SQL Server or some RDBMS, as a user I should be knowing how to write SQL query. But this is quite unrealistic, right? You can't go back and your user say, hey, if you need data, you need to learn SQL. So we put an intermediate layer in between. Conventional BI, what they do, conventional business intelligence tool, OBIEE is also conventional. They put a presentation layer. We call this presentation. Basically, this presentation layer consists of multiple components. I would make it simple, presentation. So this presentation layer, what it does, as the name indicate, receive the user request and convert this into database language. Presentation layer is a set of services, giving a simple language. It receives the request and passes to the underlying database. Right? Underlying database understand this, respond back, and presentation layer in turn reorganize in a meaningful way, right? For example, in our case, take a simple, as a user, what is my communication method? I would be communicating with one of the browser-based interface. This is my presentation layer. Whatever information I need, a simple drag and drop, right? I drag and drop. Multiple way of presentation. One is tabular way, tables. I can also add graphs, line chart or bar chart, whatsoever. This is data presentation. Now, based upon who is rendering this, organizing your information in multiple format, your presentation layer, and who is handling the actual query, what is happening behind the screen, that is being managed by your, there's another component of presentation layer, which is done under logic data modeling and physical data modeling. Your engine, your OBIEE engine, converts your English-like language into respective real SQL query. So presentation layer, in one simple word, receive request from client, convert this request into database understandable format, respond back, and reorder, reorganize, reformat in a way that end user understand. It's a very simple conventional BI tool. Now what is beyond that? So if you're a report developer, what conventional reporting tools say? So you design, develop, and hand over the report to the user. Hand over the report to the user, but time has changed. So we are basically developer. Now time has changed. What is my job as a report developer? First I design solution. Now my job changed. Now I facilitate users so that they can create report on their own. If they can create report on their own, there is no ID dependency and therefore lower cost of ownership. So my job is become facilitator. I would create report to some extent, and I would facilitate my user so that they can create report without any external help. My solution should be simple enough. Anybody without technical expertise can report on their own, and that is called self-service report. There's a great milestone set by there are two new products in BI tools, two new BI tools. New ones relatively new, which gain a great popularity. One from a company called Tableau, another one ClickTag. They have there's another company from Tipco, right? They have new generation BI product where very huge, very rich user interface. Other competitors are, so new generation tool, new generation BI tool. We have a conventional BI tools. From Oracle family, we have got OBIEE. Well, from IBM, we have got Cognos. They have a couple of more products. The one which are popular one I'm talking about, SAP has got Business Object, and there are more companies which have got relatively low market share. We have SAS also, SAS there. We have MicroStrategy. There are many players. So generally BI is divided into two different layers. Your learning methodology, my learning methodology, if I learn some product, because I know the tools are changing so fast. Today I'm learning OBIEE, 3 months later I have a requirement for new product. If I'm technology dependent, if I'm technology dependent, the opportunity of jobs are relatively low because time is changing. You don't need somebody who is super special in one tool. You should be special in different product, different tool across. So when we train people for our own consultant, we train them in a way that today they are working OBIEE, 6 months later, then they have a project on Cognos. We can give them a smart training, 5 days training. They get absorbed into the Cognos. Our learning methodology would be same. So when we hand over to the control to the user, I was talking about this is for new generation BI methodology. Give control to the user. Let him play around with this. OBIEE also works in the same way. OBIEE is conventional query tool. Query tool means a tool capable enough to render query. Not only render query, render optimized way of rendering query. Not blindly. See, you would naturally, I would ask, I'm a Java developer and say, hey, I can do the same thing in Java. Why should I buy your product? I can do this pretty much in Java. What's your big deal? You are just organizing your data in nice presentation way. I can do this. But what traditional programming cannot do it, or they can do it, but it's pretty long, time consuming affair. It's optimized way of processing query, not just a processing query, optimized way. One simple example I show you over here. In case this is your data model and you like to pull data from between two dimensions or between two tables, right? You have got two way, path 1, this is way 1, path 1, path 2. Now sometimes same query can be processed by multiple ways. Which path OBIEE should be chosen? Which path should be chosen? Right? So OBIEE works smartly. It evaluates the cost of the query and also identify the best way of processing a query, or forming a query, I should call. Forming a query. So whichever has a lower cost, OBIEE forms a query. Not only query tool, intelligent query tool. Intelligent query tool. And then we say analysis. Analysis, some tool, mechanism, methodology through which you can play around with data and drive some required information from for yourself. The simplest example, you may be using, I like to know job opportunities in OBIEE, right? I can go to trends.google.com, put my couple of questions. Hey, I like to know how OBIEE is doing. Don't get scared. OBIEE, this is OBIEE stats. This is a stats from OBIEE, originated from in 2007 and growing like this. This is a kind of pattern we have, right? So this is called data visualization, and we are presenting data in a meaningful way. We can do analyze. It is not a static. This is not a static report. I can analyze. I can do predictive analysis like forecasting. For remaining 6 months, this would be the job pattern or interest pattern. I can also see in which country, in which province, how people are accessing this. See, it is country wise, nice view. I can further nail down or drill down to the data detail from country to province. This is called analysis, right? My chart, my map is also interactive. I can click on this and say, hey, what is interactive behavior? Also, I can do it. This is called analysis. So OBIEE is capable enough to do this kind of analysis as well. And finally, it's a completely web-based. You don't need any software. You don't need any plugin. You don't need any downloadable components. Completely browser. When your customer want to access them, they need just a browser. That's it. Common sense and intuitive, I just now explained you. OBIEE has alerts. Alerts, it means based upon certain situation, they can notify users. They can continually smell the problem. And the moment something happens wrong, they immediately alert, fire, and communicate to the user. So OBIEE does these all activities. That's a very brief summarized introduction about OBIEE. There are a couple of videos available in our YouTube channel and our training methodology. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch the video in your free time to know more about it. Okay. Today I'm going to stop over here and open for your question if you have any.